The ad breaks, man. Not having to worry about so many dang commercials. You're just seeing active play all the time, even if it's not the most like intense action, that's going on. Because there's moments in on the field where players are slowing down just a little bit to kind of keep their stamina and things like that, and just really get a feel of what defenses they're reading and things. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is still entertaining and this is still good, and I'm not worried about somebody jumping in my face trying to sell me Tide Pods.
Yeah. I am a connoisseur of dad jokes.
Okay.
I love dad jokes. I think that I've told someone that dad jokes is my love language.
Okay.
And in one of my videos, I was reacting to a Spanish football history video, and he makes a comment at one point in the video, something about like, as you know, there's these two political factions were at war in Spain, in these two regions, and I said in these specific regions, and I was like, actually, I did not know that, and I said I was terrible at geometry, and I did my little kind of like subtle glance at the camera. I did not make it bold enough because I got roasted.
No.
The comments were rolling like crazy. People being like, geometry, and one guy was like, I'm going to mock you for geometry.
Oh no.
Like, well, don't mock me, bro. That was intentional.
What's funny is you cracked that same joke on our last podcast.
Bro,
you did that with India.
I will be fair. I'm not kidding. I crack that joke constantly. You can ask my wife.
That's hilarious.
Anytime something vaguely geographical comes up, I will say I suck at geometry. That's like my thing. And I'm not even kidding. I probably say that 20 times a year. Maybe 50. Like,
okay.
That's like a common thing. My wife she rolls her eyes every time I say it.
That's gold. That's pure gold.
Yeah.
Man.
So that happened, and I got roasted by some fans, which was fun. But
dang it, dude, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That actually makes me really happy that people are getting that upset about it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. What I've come to learn, and most of my subscriber base is international, like for all over the world.
Right.
And so sometimes my little subtle sarcasm doesn't necessarily translate. But I thought I made it clear when I did this look at the camera, but it wasn't like
Jim Halpert from The Office looked.
No, it was just a little.
It wasn't enough, Luke.
Subtle glance, so nobody could understand what I was saying.
Gosh, that's gold. Well.
Anyway, so we have some things to catch up on.
We do have some things to catch up on. Sorry about not recording for a week. Last week was my anniversary, and it was Mother's Day back to back, so it was really cool. But left me not able to record on our usual schedule. So
we had some major games going on in the Champions League.
We did, in the Champions League. Let's talk about the Champions League. That keeps us away from the Premier League, and I don't have to talk about everything that's happened.
He had a little bummer of an outing from Newcastle, but
yes.
So the Champions League right now, the final is going to be Manchester City versus Inter Milan.
Okay. When is that?
That I actually don't know the date of it. But
okay. You're all things football at this point. You're supposed to know, dude. You're like a walking encyclopedia. Like, you're my answers to all of this. So I need you to know.
I'm falling behind on that, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Just while he looks this up, I'll let you guys know this. We'll be texting, and Luke will be like, "Hey, man, can you hop on stream? I'm working from home right now, so I have a weird schedule or whatever that I have to work around." And Luke will be like, "Hey, man, this game's going on at in the middle of the day. Can you hop on?" And I'm like, "What time?" As if I can't on the same phone pull up Google and be like, so and so versus so and so time, for our Central Standard Time.
Bro, I'm having trouble here.
You're on the struggle bus. Are you connected to the Wi-Fi?
I am not connected to Wi-Fi, but
that's the problem. What do you?
Okay, yeah, the final is June 10th.
June 10th. Okay.
At 2 p.m.
That's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yep.
Well, oh dang.
You'll be out of town.
No, I won't be out of town. I will be working. That's my shift. I can see if someone can cover it just so I
just
can
quit. I'm a supervisor.
Here's my sergeant.
Don't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't quit. Don't do that.
No, we're understaffed like you wouldn't believe.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you would believe.
I would 100% believe it. Yeah.
But no, I can maybe see if someone can maybe swap a shift with me or something like that, so that way I can live stream the game. But
I think that's a good idea.
it'll be the final of the Champions League. Manchester City versus Inter Milan. So Milan is
this Mulan like
Milan,
Disney Mulan?
like Mila, like Milan, Italy.
Oh, okay. All right. So not like Mulan with the dragons. And,
No,
okay.
it's so
right.
Milan is a city that's split in two when it comes to football. So
Whoa.
why
is that?
There were two clubs, or there was one club that split into two clubs and became AC Milan versus Inter Milan. They share a stadium.
Are they both in the
They're both in
champions?
Yes, and they were both in the Champions League. They were both good. They both made it to the semifinals.
Oh,
so that
crap.
last game that I was live streaming that you hopped on,
Right.
that was the second leg of their match. Inter Milan beat them. They beat them bad.
Dang.
But the atmosphere in that stadium,
Bananas.
It's I've never seen anything like that, and I've been watching for a few months now. That was the most insane atmosphere I've ever seen, and it's not because it's like Champions League. It's because it was that rivalry.
Dang.
It's
okay.
the derby between those two teams. They say there's fan violence pretty much every time that they get together. Like it's
like people beating the crap out of each other.
Well, and they say it's not as bad as it maybe used to be. But
everybody says that about everything.
There will be a few fans who get out of line. For the most part, they try to keep it on the pitch or on the field. But
okay.
That atmosphere was bananas. And the thing that is the first time I've actually got to see what they call a tifo, and I've never understood what tifos were.
I don't know what a tifo is.
So a tifo is, and it's all organized by what they call ultras.
Okay.
And an ultra.
Wait. That sounds like so like secret underground government agency. Like,
well, it's kind of similar. So
okay,
it's a fan organized thing. So ultras are groups of fans who are like an army. Like you have Bill's Mafia for like.
Oh, that's what you were telling me about that one time.
So
okay, those are the ultras.
Ultras, I associated them immediately with like violence and like what they call hooliganism. Mm-hmm. But it's actually not connected. So ultras are actually a really important part of football that I didn't understand.
I still don't understand.
Yeah. So what gets broadcast the most sometimes is when the ultras go after each other.
The most clicks and the most plays.
Right, and it gets chaos. But what an ultra really does is it's a group of fans that organize and they come up with crazy choreographies and banners and things like that. And so I had never seen a legit tifo before until I watched this Milan derby, and I was previewing I don't remember if this is the tifo from that game, but before I started streaming, I reacted to the Milan derby history, and there was a tifo that came from the first row of seats, and it extended all the way to the third tier of the stadium, and this is like it's like a banner that's created by the fans. And it extended the entirety of one end of the stadium.
How do they do that?
I have no idea.
Is it like one large piece of fabric?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay,
it looks like it.
Or is it like a bunch of like signs being held up and stuff?
I think sometimes they choreograph, like, I've seen like FC Barcelona had one where like the entire stadium, they choreographed what they were going to wear, so it looks like their logo all through the stadium. And I've never, in any sport, I have never seen anything like this. And I'm telling you, I have seen crazy fans. College football, I've seen some craziness. I've never seen choreography by fans like I have seen in the tifos.
Wow.
And so I wanted to show you, actually, I think we have...
that's the first video that we have loaded up. Yeah. Boom.
So this is a fan-designed...
What is this?
So it's talking about UEFA, so I'm guessing... I don't know the history behind this.
Sure.
But if the fans are obviously upset about...
And the 35,000 fine goes to... Is that part of the tifo?
I think I feel like they are protesting UEFA.
Are they? This is the fan fire right here?
Yes.
What the heck is this?
Choreography. So I don't know what club this is. I don't know what some of these are all about, but yeah, you can hear. Look at this,
dude. Yeah, this looks like individual pieces put together.
Yeah, this
but
one.
It could just be because it has like a brick background.
Yeah.
I wish I could understand what they were chanting.
Right. But this atmosphere, like, what in the world? This one's crazy.
What the heck? That looks like Batman.
Look at the choreography, though. They're bringing up this.
What?
That's Borussia Dortmund. That's a German club.
Are they doing this at halftime and stuff, or what?
I think this is pre-game. I think the tifos happen before the games.
Dude, now that looks like fabric.
Yeah, and like it's extended the whole stadium.
Like who brought this in? You know what I mean? Like how did they get it inside? What the heck?
Right. So I think like the ultras have to be really organized.
Dude, Dragon Ball Z.
I have some anime fans subscribe to the channel.
Oh yeah, we're going Super Saiyan. My childhood is like right there.
Yeah, but like this is PSG. This is the club that Messi's on right now.
Oh, okay.
Messi and Neymar.
Until he joins Newcastle in the summer.
He's not going to. I think he's going back to FC Barcelona. But
maybe. Woo! Dude, that is sick.
Yeah. They have the what is that? The MTX, is that what that is?
I have no idea. They got two?
Yeah, competing.
The other one was lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they have that one stretched out like a netting. You see that behind it?
Right, yep.
Okay.
And so there's one coming up at some point. Yeah, this is FC Barcelona.
Dude.
The entire...
Dang! Imagine being like the 40 people that didn't get the memo. You know?
I don't think the Ultras would let that happen. They're so committed.
It kind of reminds me, you know, we were talking about the 21 Pilot concert when people were going into trenches and they've got like yellow tape and they're just taping other people.
Yeah, they're giving everyone duct tape.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is reminding me. Dang, this is cool.
Yeah, look at the Tifo banner.
See, the way that's moving looks like a big piece of fabric, but I don't know, you know? Are they just passing it down to people in the front?
I think that one was fabric.
These are signs, obviously.
The cool thing is I know for sure that in my subscribers, we have people who are members of Ultras.
Whoa.
And so I'd love for you guys to like leave some comments telling us how these things get organized.
Oh, yeah.
How you guys create the stuff.
I want to be a part of an Ultra one day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Louisiana needs to get a team so we can just go Ultra it up. Just the two of us.
So I know in the MLS they have some clubs are doing Tifos and
cool.
There are Ultras for those. FC Dynamo.
Dude, this is crazy. This is in Kyiv, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Boca Juniors. People keep telling me to react to Boca Juniors.
What league are they in?
I believe it's Serie A. I think it's Italian.
Oh, okay.
But I could be. Dude, y'all gonna flame me for that? 'Cause I might be wrong.
Please flame him if he's wrong.
I think it's Italian. I might be wrong.
All right, we can stop that.
So that was. That's an introduction to what Ultras do and what Tifos are about.
Okay.
And like it's actually like a big part of the worldwide sport. Like
that's so cool, man.
So I had never seen one before until watching the Derby game.
Right.
And I was blown away because that's the atmosphere that was going on, and that the chanting, game long, whole time.
Dude.
And so people are really passionate about the sport.
Yeah.
And I think I'm learning something that because this month I'm hanging out in Spain. That's what I'm doing. Spanish league, Spanish teams, and I'm finding out how much these clubs are connected to history.
Okay.
So it's not like our sports. Like our sports are not connected to communities other than college sports.
Right.
With these leagues, like these teams started, 1800s, and they started with a few guys getting together, and in some real sense, like they treat it almost like. In fact, I have a comment that I took. Let me see if I have.
Are you like somebody commented and
somebody
said?
commented this on my on one of my videos, and so this comes from one of my at May 1000. I don't know. I've seen some of these comments before, but another layer of knowledge for why soccer means what it means around the world and why the relegation system works is because the teams are rooted in deep historical local identities and local rivalries. So when they play, it is your region/city that plays. This is also why international football, as in soccer played by national teams, is the most prestigious, desired, and ultimately passionate level of the game, because the players act or represent like soldiers of the country, fighting peacefully yet physically other country soldiers on an equal playing field where what matters is not size or economic power, but skill and ability and talent. This is why the Netherlands, although having 17 million inhabitants, is and was a defining power in the sport. And so, like...
Who left that comment?
His name, Etme 1000.
Shout out to Etme 1000.
So, when I read that comment, though, it shined a lot of light on... It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing war.
Yeah.
Like, and in some sense, we can still have these healthy rivalries and battles between country where we decide who is the bigger man, but we decide it on the field, not like killing each other.
And you know, that kind of makes me, I want to do a deep dive now, and I might do this as like a subpart of our like gather some information for some of our podcasts, and you guys tell me if y'all would be interested in this. I'm like, you brought up war and stuff. I'm really wondering how these leagues functioned in like World War One and World War Two and things like that. Like how,
right?
You know, because the Olympics happened during World War Two. So was football also being played during the war? I'm sure somebody's going to give us a history lesson in the comments, but like
I can give you a little bit right now of what
hit me with it.
So and this is not World War II, this is World War One.
Okay.
But World War One breaks out, and there's a Scottish club. It might be World War. I'm pretty sure it's World War One. Let me check that.
We're double checking our facts here.
I'm pretty sure it's World War One, but
we don't have Twitter community notes, so we have to do it ourselves.
But the club is Heart of Midlothian.
Whoa!
And,
what a fire name, bro!
Yeah,
they've got that old school crest. Holy crap!
It's a Scottish. Yeah, it was World War One.
Okay.
It's a Scottish team, and there was a when World War One breaks out. There was a man, I can't remember the guy's name, but he basically called volunteers to go fight for their country, and almost the entire club enlisted in the army, and most of them did not come home. So
dang,
I think only two who enlisted came back unscathed, or maybe it was three, came back fine. They were most of them either injured or killed, and so there was a big uproar during that time because the league continued to go, and so a bunch of people were saying, "This is a disgrace. We shouldn't be playing sports right now when our country is at war,
right?
And the world is at war." And so I do know that happened, but I think in Scotland at least, the league continued during the fighting. And so Heart of Midlothian is a really fantastic story.
Wow.
And there's documentaries about it, and there's books written about it. I haven't done as much research on it as I'd like to. I would love to read a full book about it.
Man, yeah. You're gonna have me doing, that's gonna be my summer thing now. Like, I usually read during the summer, like a book or something that I've picked out, but I want to do some deep dive into like history of football.
Oh yeah,
during the war.
That's kind of an angle that I'm doing in my content on the channel, like where I'm reacting to stuff. I'm trying to learn about the history of the sport.
Yeah, this makes it so much more rich. Right. Like it's a much better experience to know the backstory to what's going on.
So I'd like to. It would be cool for like for future podcasts and stuff to like find a topic. A historical topic in football and like just discuss it on the podcast because there's a lot to learn because you've got leagues in every country in the world that span back 100 years plus. So there's so much to learn to understand what's going on here.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so that's a crazy little story there.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
Yeah. You had something you were going to go for?
No, I was just saying, like, I'm just blown away by how, like, thinking about the tifos and the what you call them? Ultras,
Yeah.
not ultras, not the beauty
Not
supply
ultras.
chain, yeah,
No.
but the ultras, like the commitment of the fan bases, because you get one or two people, that get singled out in American football games that are like dressed up and
Right.
painted up and all this stuff, but to know that there's an entire organization of fans
Right.
for basically every club that's saying like, hey guys, we're going to do some really cool stuff. We're going to do this choreography and things that you're talking about.
Right.
And I'm sure it's good for the community too, doing things before the games and stuff like that. It warms my heart to know that there's that level of a commitment to the sport.
Yeah, and I know that it's beyond what we don't think in the right framework to understand their sports.
That's
it's
right.
It's not to put down our system, but it's to say, like, if we want to try to understand theirs, we look at it completely wrong because it's so community based there. The number one comment I get constantly on this channel is people saying we can't imagine or fathom a team leaving one city to go to another city. And that's something that happens not like regularly, but in my life I've lived long enough to see St. Louis Rams become the Los Angeles Rams, to see the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've lived long enough to see the Pelicans. They used to be the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobcats became the Hornets. I've lived long enough to see all of that go down. Seattle Supersonics became the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yep.
So, like, yeah, it's not something that happens very regularly, but it is something that we're just almost unfazed by.
Yeah.
But they're like you're destroying a community.
Yeah, you tear a community apart when you do that.
You're taking their club from them.
Yeah.
And to think, like, these clubs are more than just a team. These clubs, like FC Barcelona has a youth academy. They have a women's team.
Man.
Manchester City has the same thing. Like, these clubs have a women's club. They have the professional club. They have the youth academy, and people can work. They can start as a kid and they can play for this club, and they can even promote all the way up to the.
It's so ingrained in the fabric of the communities that the clubs are a part of.
Yeah, And someone was mentioning, like, they were trying to figure out how do American athletes have loyalty to a team, because I was trying to explain the draft to them.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, because. For the most part, I'd say the vast majority of NFL players or NBA players, they end up getting drafted to a team that they did not root for as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, right now, you'll have players playing for a club that maybe was a rival when they were growing up, and they just kind of have to push that loyalty down, and they're not a fan anymore. They're a hired player, and these guys they were like, but. So they didn't grow up. They weren't able to play for the club that they love. Yeah, and that's like something that is wild.
It's crazy to think about. Yeah, especially when the rest of the world kind of functions on this. Well, we're such a capitalist society, and that's really what drives that. They're willing to put those feelings of, I didn't pull for this team aside because that rookie contract is looking real good. Right. Nobody can convince me that Bryce Young, which for those of you that don't know American football, Bryce Young was the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide Roll, and he was the number 1 draft pick to the Carolina Panthers. And I don't think he ever thought in a million years up until last year that he would ever play for the Carolina Panthers. Right. But here he is now. He's the number 1 draft pick. He got drafted there. His jerseys are in the top 10 sale. Like, he's fully committed to the team and all this stuff, and so it's just a weird experience. Yeah. When you really break it down like that, it is weird, man.
It's honestly, for us, it's a cool, heartwarming story.
Yeah.
When a player gets drafted to the team that he grew up rooting for, you're like, wow, he gets to play for that club.
Or when they finally get traded, like Tyrann Mathieu finally went to the Saints after he was a Louisiana boy through and through. Leonard Fournette has been. Everybody has been pushing their hardest. We're from so we live in New Orleans. There's a section of the city that famous running back who played for Louisiana State University, LSU, where New Orleans is. We're in Louisiana, so he played there. He's from New Orleans, and he's played all around the league, but he's never made it back home, and people want him to come back and play because when he comes back to New Orleans to come and visit, they're throwing parties for him and everything. He's so loved in his hometown, and so that is wild to think about, man.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm thinking about if I would have been, but then again, we don't have football clubs in every city or in every state.
There's only 32.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that may be a bigger issue as well.
Well, and you think about they have they'll have multiple clubs per city, and not only that, there's hundreds of clubs.
Yeah.
They have an entire league system, so
Exactly.
you can work up from the grassroots all the way up to the top.
Whereas somebody like me from Alabama, once you're done with college football, American college football, there is no professional league in Alabama or Mississippi, which is the neighboring state. You have Georgia, which is on the other side of us, and then you have Florida, which is underneath us, and then the next closest thing is going to be Louisiana or Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and even then, it still isn't like, it doesn't feel authentic because it's not your home state.
Right.
That's, man, I'm trying to frame that in my mind right now. That's why we need minor league or other leagues of football in America.
Well, it's a hard sell too, because with American football, it's such a costly sport.
It is.
So like you have to invest so much to have a team.
You do.
And the talent level is just not going to be there in order to have the same kind of league system.
Right.
But the idea that, and I get it, like they want to see a player commit to a club, love that club, and then grow up to play for that club.
Yeah.
Whereas here, someone commented it in my live stream, and I think they're right. American athletes could be considered more like it's a job. It's not, and it's the job that they love. Like they are passionate about the sport, but honestly, they're trying. This is the only way for some of these young men to like generate wealth for their family and get themselves out of poverty.
Well, and I genuinely wonder if we haven't conditioned the players to think like that, because not to bring anything crazy up, which this might not even touch the scope of your subscribers, but for us here in America, 10 years ago was when this huge issue broke out about like singing the national anthem at the games and stuff, and in those moments when that stuff was going viral on social media, Facebook was like the number one outlet at the time, and people were commenting and they were like, these guys have a job to do. They need to sing the national anthem because it's in their contract, because they have a job to fulfill. They're not even players at this point. They're entertainers that we pay to watch,
And that is actually true. So that's the thing where we have, like, if we're going to try to take our American mindset and think in their sports, it's
just not going to work.
Two different worlds. We're looking at an industry.
Yeah.
It's an entertainment industry. And it's highly entertaining.
Absolutely.
People watch our sports because it's something that you can put on and you can watch it, and it's a spectacle. Yeah. And it distracts you from life. But there's not as much engagement in the professional sports here. It is their job. They do have a contract for an entertainment industry. So like there is that whole debate that breaks out. Mm-hmm. By the way, I hear people commenting about the anthem a lot in my comment sections. For a lot of my subscribers, they find it troubling, I think, because of the history of sports being used as like propaganda in many countries. Yeah. And so it kind of gives off a vibe of like brainwashing.
So do they do anthems in other sports?
They do, like, so at the World Cup you'll hear an anthem. I think in
like whatever country they're playing in.
Yeah, I think in the Premier League they do it as well. But I don't think that, from what I've gathered from some of the comments, there's a lot of people who don't understand the fascination that Americans have with the anthem. They definitely don't like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh man.
Yeah, so there's, I don't want to get off into
it's cool because like this is honestly, other than like purposefully going to other countries and engaging with other people groups, this is the first time I've been able to hear from people directly interacting with what we're talking about from other areas of the world. And so this is so cool because it opens up the dialogue to, why do we do the things that we do? Yeah. one, it separates us culturally, which is not a bad thing. I think that different cultures exist for different reasons. I think it's beautiful to have different vibrant cultures. I love it when they can mesh in things. But then it makes you wonder, like, do we just do this out of tradition, or do we do this because there is some propaganda influence behind it, or are we doing it just because this is an entertainment industry and these are people on a contract and we're paying them as entertainers? And so this is cool, man. I really enjoy this.
Yeah, the interesting thing that I love about where we're at with the channel is building a nice little community of people who, like, we pretty openly discuss, like, not like politics, but we'll talk like of some of like the geopolitical, how it interacts with the sports and
at an international scale.
Yeah, and just kind of talk about cultures, because we obviously all come from different cultures. This sport is unifying in a lot of ways, because, like I said, I'm terrible at geometry. I never would have stepped out and actually engaged in a lot of these cultures, and I love learning.
Right.
So this is a really, like, for me, it's the perfect way to learn, because I love sports so much. And then to get engaged with a community and actually, like, figure out, like, right now I'm in Spain, so I'm learning a lot about Spanish culture and like that. And I probably never would have learned much about the Spanish Civil War, which now I'm learning, because that had a big impact on the landscape of football. So,
man, and it really, not only does it broaden your scope, as you're learning and stuff like that, but it really helps you fall in love harder with the game of football.
Yep. For sure. And honestly, even falling in love with going back to the history of how football has evolved and how it's split, like, to think that football, like, this sport spawned two other great sports, American football and rugby.
Yeah.
And this is all, they're all interconnected. You have association football, rugby football, and American or gridiron football. And it's just kind of cool. If you trace it all the way back, you can kind of see how the evolutions took off and they branched off in their different ways.
That's so cool.
And it's fun to go back and look at, like, it's obvious to me that football and American football will always be my two favorite sports. And it's because the similarity is there. Like, the idea of advancing a ball past a goal on a field, and there's an opposition trying to stop you from getting that.
Yeah.
Something about that on the field, and just, I love that. Like, I really love the free-flowing nature of soccer, association football. I love watching how the game is continuous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
that's what's really drawn me in is, though the scores are not high or whatnot, being able to just turn it on and the ad breaks, man. Not having to worry about so many dang commercials. You're just seeing active play all the time, even if it's not the most, like, intense action, that's going on. Because, like, there's moments on the field where players are slowing down just a little bit to kind of keep their stamina and things like that, and just really get a feel of what defenses they're reading and things. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is still entertaining and this is still good, and I'm not worried about somebody jumping in my face trying to sell me Tide Pods.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, I think I've mentioned it before. That was the thing that got me. I was watching, kind of interested. Like, I obviously found the sport interesting, but then it was watching my first game and realizing, like, dude, it was so relaxing. I can sit here and I can watch the game uninterrupted, and I was like, I like that. I like hearing the fans singing the entire time.
Oh yeah.
While I'm watching this, that's awesome. And then I go to watch American football, and I was just frustrated at the stoppages and the ad breaks. It didn't turn me off from the sport, because I grew up with it, man. Like,
yeah. Like, nothing's gonna stop me watching American football.
Never.
It's just not going to. Yeah.
Right, because I'm so into it.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a video that we need to make. I haven't told you about this, but I love to make a video of why Americans love American football.
Yes.
Because some people don't understand why.
Yes.
And I think we could show them why.
Oh, we'll make you fall in love with it.
Yeah. So anyway,
at least a little bit.
But beyond that, like, so, like, I'm always gonna love that, but it did start to frustrate me. I'm like, man, I kind of don't want to see the ads right now. I'd like to watch the game.
Yeah.
the only time the ads don't bother me is if, you know, you have a group of friends over and, you know, you can step out and throw a ball in the backyard during the commercials.
And that's why tailgating and
Tailgating,
partying, snacks and stuff like that. And that's why you invite a million people over to watch the games.
Yeah.
And yeah.
If you're watching it alone, which I do because I love the sport that
Right.
much, if you're watching it alone, you're going to have to constantly, okay, look at my phone now for 5 minutes.
Yeah, because you don't want to see these stupid ads.
Yeah.
But no, when you have a lot of people over, so that I will say that about American football, it is very much a social event.
Right.
Unless you're there. Now, what the cool thing about being at an American football game is
Yeah.
you don't have to deal with the ads and stuff like that. The things that they're doing on the field, especially in college sports, they have bands that play live.
Marching bands are
which
the
is
best.
it's a huge part of the college football experience. If you guys can't tell, I love college football more than I like professional football. And so that's a whole thing though. We can get into
It's
that.
funny because I don't disagree with you
Uh-huh.
that it's better. Like, I think that my subscribers and my fans would actually enjoy college football.
I think so, too.
Because it fits the same environment and vibe.
There's what 250 Division One NCAA teams or
Right.
something like that, or 150. There's something like it's like almost 200 teams if I'm not mistaken.
And there is that community aspect because
Yeah.
like people went to school there. This is
Yeah.
their alma mater.
I grew up 2 hours from the team I've been rooting for my entire life.
Right.
When I was born, my mom had me in Alabama Crimson Tide outfits and stuff. So
Yeah.
like there's that commitment.
But I
yeah.
think it's interesting how you're more committed to college football than I would be.
Uh-huh.
I'm through and through an NFL like fan, and
But-
the reason is
Yeah, I was going to say let's get into the reason.
so there are a couple reasons. For me, the reason is I think that it's undeniable that the talent is higher,
Okay.
and so you're getting to see the absolute best of the best play the game.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I think the main reason is I am from Dallas.
Yeah.
So I have
grew
a
up with a
team
professional
that's
team.
right there. That's such big storied history.
Mm-hmm.
If I had grown up in Alabama, like of course I think
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
Auburn, you've got Alabama, you've got this.
Those are the two teams. There's two other Division One teams in Alabama. Actually, three now in Alabama. But no, like the rivalry between Alabama and Auburn is the oldest rivalry in college football.
Yeah.
And so like when growing up in Alabama, it wasn't, hey, where are you from? Blah blah blah. All this. It's like, hey, who do you pull for? Like
Yeah.
when you walk into a store and stuff like that, people are going to have either Alabama Crimson Tide or Auburn Tigers stuff in their storefront to let you know who they associate with.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's pretty awesome.
yeah, and I grew up with the Red River
River rivalry, yeah.
between Texas and OU.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up in Austin. I grew up in Dallas. Like Dallas is through and through. It's cowboy country.
Yeah.
And so like the NFL became, I remember the first time falling in love with American football ever. This is gonna surprise you. So
Okay.
I've mentioned it a couple times, and I'll continue to mention it, but not go into depth about it.
Okay.
I grew up in a cult.
You did? Yep.
So
Yep.
we weren't allowed to watch sports, but we were allowed to follow sports, which
Uh-huh.
is hilarious.
That's Colt stuff.
Yeah, so we weren't allowed to watch, because if it's a moving picture, then it's a sin, basically.
Sure, of course.
Not allowed to watch TV or things like that, but you can listen to the game on the radio, as long as it doesn't interfere with church or things like that. And so everyone has a team that they support, even though we're not allowed to watch sports, which is bananas. But I found a book. Remember, can't watch TV,
Right.
can't watch movies, things like that. But I found a book in a library at my school, and it was the top 10 professional quarterbacks of the 1970s.
Oh wow.
And it was such an old little paperback book, and it had Pat Hayden from the Rams, Jimmy
Uh-huh.
Plunkett, some old quarterback names
Right.
from the 70s. And in that book was Roger Staubach,
Okay.
Roger the Dodger.
Uh-huh.
And so I started reading about him, and he has the coolest story ever. He went into the Navy. He had to put the NFL on hold because he had to serve 4 years in the
Mm-hmm.
Navy. And the Cowboys were like, yeah, we want you so bad that we'll put you
We'll
on
honor your
contract.
contract. Yeah.
So I fell in love with this story, and I'm a Cowboys fan. I couldn't help it because his story, and all the inception of the Hail Mary,
Oh yeah.
which was definitely pass interference. But But yeah, it's like all of that. So I became a Cowboys fan through that, and we've gone on talking about American football now. But
We have.
hey,
Well-
I'll go ahead and cover this now.
Go
So
ahead.
I mentioned it in my last video. FC Barcelona and Real Madrid are coming to Dallas
Wow.
July 29th. That's my old stomping grounds.
Uh-huh.
I think they're playing at the Cotton Bowl, or maybe it got moved to AT&T Stadium, but they're coming to Dallas.
Cool.
And that's like the El Clasico. That's the derby, the
Yeah.
rivalry.
Yeah.
And so I went to go look to see what the tickets would be. To sit in the nosebleed at the top of the stadium.
Can I guess?
Go.
All right. So, how many seats are they selling? What, 70,000? No, probably 100,000.
92,000.
92,000. All right, nosebleeds, $500.
Yeah, very close. It was $405 to sit at the top of the
Wow.
stadium. So yeah, you're very
Dude.
close. And the crazy thing is, I'm not sure that they're gonna play their entire. As people were telling me, it will be the actual rivalry, but they're probably gonna sit some players because it's a preseason. But they said wherever the Clasico gets played, they're gonna play their squad. So.
Man,
I know some people said, "Hey, we will crowdfund for it." I'm not sure everyone will. Join my Patreon. If you join my Patreon,
that's the way to do it.
then I can put your name as in the credits of the vlog video that I
Yeah.
make, and you can do all that stuff. But y'all let me know if there's interest in that. I'm gonna.
You
Try to
could
push out
you could
Patreon
vlog
content.
the whole thing too, man. Like you could
Yeah.
record yourself there
dude.
and stuff.
Imagine
Fan interactions, bro.
the content. I could bring my vlog with me. I could go talking with fans. Why are you a Real Madrid fan? Why are you FC Barcelona? Talking with folks, getting a feel of the atmosphere. And dude, my guy DeBronco, who is another YouTuber on this platform, which we're working on a collaboration.
Heck yeah.
He's from Dallas.
Okay.
Dude, imagine we go see El Clasico. I'm throwing this out
Man,
there.
when is this now? This is July.
July 29th.
Okay.
So
Man, you'd have to loan gun it because I still won't be in a position to be able to like walk like that well yet. That sucks.
I asked Cameron Clark
Cool.
if he wanted to go, and he's like, he can't. But
Of course, that's another dude. He's all about some football.
he is a Barcelona fan through and through. So but anyway, I was like, man, you want to come? That'd be fun. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm not even sure. Dude, I'm not gonna probably do it unless I have some
funding behind you.
some funding behind me,
Sure.
and some support with like everyone wanting me to do it.
Yeah, that'd be so cool, man.
It would be.
Gosh.
It would be some
Here's
fun
the good thing though. If they're doing it this summer, we already know if the nosebleeds are selling at $400 something, they've sold it out basically.
Right.
They're gonna bring it back next year,
Oh, for sure.
and so there's just more opportunity.
I think the reason they brought it back this year is I think they did it last year, and I think a lot of these clubs are starting to realize that an American tour actually brings in a lot of money.
Heck yeah.
Because what they're doing is the sport is actually growing here.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap up the YouTube portion of this podcast
Yeah.
for channel members,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna do some more videos here.
We are.
But for channel members and patrons, if you join that, you'll get an extended cut of this
Yeah.
podcast episode where we just sit around and talk about, I don't know, paint drying on a wall. I don't know.
It's so exciting. You should totally.
If you want witty banter, or not witty banter, you just want banter.
If you want witty geometry.